What's up, Epic 7? I know a lot of you have been saying, I can't do this content, I don't have Wukong. Well, I tell you what, you don't need Wukong. Wukong's not that important of a unit. He's not even very good. I mean, you can clear Rift without him just fine. Hey, tinfoil hat notwithstanding, this video is going to show you how to take care of Rift, how to clear it without Wukong, and how to do it pretty efficiently and in a way that is still substantially better than farming hunts. So, here's the team. Now, I'm not going to get into a great deal of discussion about the Rift fragments or how Rift works, how you should farm it, what it looks like when you level up higher. For that, check the link in the description for the video on my fastest clear team. Although that video has Wukong in it, it's loaded with information even for people that don't have Wukong. So hopefully the first half of that video will get you taken care of on everything you need to know about Rift. But let's jump right in and talk about how to beat this without Wukong. So first, in place of Wukong, we are going to be running Senya. Now, if you don't have Senya, the Great Mortellix would also work. If you don't have the Great Mortellix, of all people, Albedo would work. These three units can take it on the chin and ride in the front. Senya, because she's got baked-in anti-crit. Mort, because he has got anti-crit as a buff when his skill procs, and it probably will proc with all of the hits he's going to take. And also because he can be built really, really, really tanky. And Albedo can take it because she's just built like a truck, right? She's loaded with mitigation, and she's even got an AOE. All of these units have an AOE in there somewhere. And the really nice thing about Albedo is she has got a defense break. And the really nice thing about Mort is he has got a defense break. So if you do not have Bellona, you'll want to run Albedo or Mort for your defense breakers in place of Senya. But this is my Senya. This is just a typical Guild Wars Senya from back when we used to run Senya in Guild Wars. The only difference is I have put her on the Sword of Azera artifact. Sword of Azera makes it very difficult to kill her, or difficult to kill Mort, or difficult to kill Albedo. With Mort and Albedo, you'll want to go with much higher HP, and that should not be that hard with those units. Senya can be a little bit lower because Senya's got an EE that can heal her. If you can put her or Mort on lifesteal, you'll get even more mileage out of them, but it's not really required. Don't worry about the effect resistance. This is all left over from when she was in Guild Wars. It is totally optional. Other than that, this build seems to work just fine. The second unit on the team is Bellona. Bellona is our defense breaker. If you do not have Bellona, I would run Mui in her place. Although Mui doesn't have a defense break, Mui does have an AOE on her S3 that gives attack buff. She's got target on her S1, and she has got an AOE on her S2. And all these things are great for dropping the tentacles off of the Kraken and making the fight a little bit cleaner and easier. If you are going to run Mui, though, you're giving up the defense break, so consider changing Senya out for Mort or Albedo to get you that defense break back on the team. Although it's not required, without a defense break, you're probably going to have to do one more additional run to clear the stage, so it really helps with efficiency. As for Bellona's kit, the important things to touch on is she needs a 105 effectiveness. And by the way, if you're running Mort or Albedo and you want them to defense break, 105 effectiveness on them as well. I put her on Bloodstone to help supplement the healing. That should help keep our health moving in the right direction. And she is tuned to go after Vivian and after Bernard. The turn order you want is Bernard to cleanse, Vivian to buff, Bellona to break. Senya, Mort, Albedo, they can really go at any point in time in the fight. I've got her on the EE that reduces the skill cooldown of her S3 by 1, so she'll be able to spam those butterfly fans and defense breaks a little bit faster. Other than that, I pumped everything into damage. Bellona hits surprisingly hard on her S2 and S3 skills, so anything left over, dump it into some damage. Vivian is the second fastest unit on the team. We want her to go right after Bernard for the cleanse. If you don't have Vivian, you can run Mui in her place. Mui is actually a very, very good replacement for Vivian. Mui does not have the immunity, but you get that from Bernard. And Mui does give a 3-turn attack buff, just like Vivian. Mui's S3 and S2 are AoE attacks. Vivian's S2 is the only AoE she has, but it's on a very short cooldown. Mui's cooldowns are 6 turns on her S3 and 4 turns on her S2. So although she gets 2 AoEs off relatively early on, she winds up doing a couple of S1s that don't do much to move the fight except give you access to a target debuff. So I do like Vivian better in this spot than Mui, but if you aren't using Vivian or don't have her built, Mui is an acceptable alternative. I have her on the EE that cycles her after she does her S3, and for now I have her on Etika Scepter, though at RC8 she will potentially pick up a Rift Fragment that will make Etika Scepter useless. There's a Rift Fragment that reduces her skill cooldowns on her S2 by 1, so she can constantly spam her S2, and that'll let us change this artifact out for a damage artifact like Caladra. And the cleanser on the team is Bernard. Now, if you don't have Bernard, you can run Ray. Ray works just as well as Bernard on the healing and cleansing, but Ray does not have an AoE attack on his S1 that heals. Ray's S1 is a pretty generic S1 that cleanses a debuff, so he's not as strong of a healer as Bernard. He doesn't give us those extra AoE attacks that Bernard does that help us with the tentacles. He is a little bit faster and a little bit tankier, which is nice, but I would only use him if you don't have Bernard. Make sure he has 220% effect resistance. You'll need that to be immune to the boss's shenanigans. Other than that, make sure he is the first unit to go on the team. If you do not have Ray or Bernard, you can go with Destina. Again, make sure Destina is the first unit to go on the team. Even if you have to put a Turnus on her to help her CR cut, make sure she's the fastest unit on the team. Give her 220% effect resistance and watch her fly. If you do not have Destina or Ray or Bernard, then you can go with Ocean Breeze Lulika. Again, make sure she has 220% effect resistance. Ocean Breeze Lula can only cleanse 2 debuffs, and you will need to cleanse 3, so you'll have to put her on Doctor's Bag to get rid of that 3rd debuff. If you don't have Doctor's Bag, Ocean Breeze Lulika isn't really going to work out that well for you. Now, if you have Bernard, and mind you, he's on the Mystics right now, you can go and do a random 10 pull on the Mystic banner and you will probably get Bernard, right? He's a 3-star, so he's very likely to show up in the 10 pull. Now, if you're worried you're going to go and do a random 10 pull, and in that random 10 pull, you'll accidentally pull a 5-star and ruin your chances at getting ML Luna. This is what you do. You slide over here, you go to the Mystics, and you click on the picture of Great Chief Koana and you select her. Now you are working on the 4-star Moonlight Hero, and it's just occurred to me that some people don't know this. If you do a 10 pull and you hit a ML5, it does not reset your ML5 pity. You only have an ML4 pity that's currently resettable. So if I did this and I pulled ML Haste, I would still be at 195. It would not reset my pity. So this is a good way to get at Bernard without messing with or risking your Mystic pity. Now that's only if you have the Mystics to spare on this kind of an endeavor. If you are scrimping and saving every single Mystic and dumping 500 on a 4-star isn't your thing, just stick with Ray or Destina or even Ocean Breeze Lulika and you should be fine. But if you have Bernard and you want to build the best, most efficient farming team you can, without Wukong that is, this is how Bernard is built. Just like all the others, fastest unit on the team with 220% effect resistance. Now, Bernard's healing is okay, but it's not that okay. And that's why we have Bloodstone on Bellona to help supplement that, and that's why I put Touch of Rekos on him. If you don't have Touch of Rekos, Guardian Ice Crystal would work. You could also run Shamadra Staff to boost the healing from Bloodstone, his own healing, and the healing from lifesteals. There are other ways to get around enhancing your healing through artifacts. You've got all those options. And that's it. This is all Bernard needs. He's actually quite easy to gear. Now, I will tell you that for this team, I'm going for damage. So as far as the Rift Fragments go, I'm going to switch them over to the one that just increases damage. I don't need this one because I've got Bernard. I don't need this one because I don't have a warrior in the front, so may as well just take a little bit of extra damage, and that way our team's ready to go. Make sure you have your Rift Pet equipped, You're looking for a Rift pet that has the additional piece of equipment on it and the bonus to Rift energy. Those are the two most important. The other ones are just fluff and extra. They're nice to have, but don't worry if you don't have them. Try to get the double S skill as quickly as possible. That will help you out in this endeavor the most. Here goes the team. Into the fight we go. At the start of the fight, the Kraken uses his AoE attack, which puts debuffs on everybody except for Bernard, who has the effect resistance to survive it, so he is able to cleanse everybody, paving the way for Vivian to give an attack buff to the entire team. The Kraken does one last attack just in time for Bellona to drop her S3, removing one of the tentacles and giving us defense break. Senya does her S3, also an AoE attack. This will get rid of another tentacle and replace it with Sever. Every time you attack with an AoE, you get rid of a tentacle and you replace it with Sever. And that is huge because the Sever is a 30% boost to AoE attack damage. Why is that so important? Every single one of these is like putting a rage set on your unit. The more severs you get, the more damage you do. The more damage you do, the more Bloodstone is going to heal. The more Lifesteal is going to heal. The more her S1 is going to heal. It's all stacks together. So it's really, really, really good to have all these AoE attacks, and that's what makes Vivian and Bellona such strong units for this. Etika Scepter's procs, giving Vivian another AoE attack, getting max value off the Etika Scepter. Down the Whirlpool we go. This unfortunately cleanses most of the debuffs. Sword of Azera doing a really good job keeping Senya alive in this fight. Starting to stack up some injury damage though. Etika Scepter one more time, so after this S3, we will be good to use a AoE attack. Hopefully we get a defense break off Bellona soon. We're running out of space for it. Another Sever, another AoE, removing tentacles left and right. Oh, there is no longer room on the board for a defense break, so that's unfortunate. We aren't going to be able to get a defense break, but that's fine. We don't really need it. We'll still be doing really good damage as long as we keep stacking the Severs. There's another barrier and immunity from Bernard. Another AoE attack from Bellona. Oh, do we get defense break? Oh, we got the defense break. That's fantastic. Sometimes you don't get that, and that's okay. You'll still be doing really good damage. Down the Whirlpool we go. Oh, the Whirlpool cleansed all the debuffs. Well, we had defense break there for a few seconds. But check it out, guys. We are out of turns, nobody's dead, and we teleport out, and we did 40% damage. 40%. You know what that means, right? That means even down here at RC3, we're clearing this in 3 entries. 40% per run easily clears in 3 entries. 3 entries costs the same stamina as 2 entries did last season, and I think we all remember that if you could clear it in 2 entries, it was better than Hunt. So yeah, Wukong is substantially better. Wukong lets you clear this in 2 entries. By RC8, Wukong lets you clear in 1 entry, whereas this team will probably clear in 2 entries. By RC21, this team is easily clearing in 1 entry too. So, do you need Wukong? No. Does he make this faster and more efficient? Heck yes, and it looks like Wukong is also good in many other aspects of the game. We're even seeing some success in RTA, so before you skip him, really ask yourself, should I skip this unit? Watch some other people play him, make an informed decision. In the meantime, those of you without Wukong, I hope this guide helps you with your Rift endeavors, helps you farm that sweet, sweet gear. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. Once I get to RC8, a whole new set of teams will come out, and I hope you guys will ring that bell and check out those videos when they arrive. So I will catch you guys next time. Take care, Epic 7.